Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you how Lonzo Ball's rookie year just got even more embarrassing.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why I think Eli Manning's NFL days are over. Speak for yourself.
What?
Starts now. I feel great conviction with this.
What? Peyton Manning got carried to a Super Bowl. Why not Eli? All right. Hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings and Mark Schlereth. Let's start in New York, where the news of Eli Manning's benching has prompted some strong reaction. Everyone from Tiki Barber to Phil Simms, several of Eli's former teammates have been caping up for him, with Justin Tuck calling it one of the dumbest decisions he's ever seen. O.C. Manure saying Eli deserved better. Even actress Kate Mara, the niece of Giants owner John, tweeted that she was heartbroken. Ben McAdoo addressed the decision today.
I get the reactions, I understand the emotions, I understand the responses. It's been a tough couple days, but we feel we have to put our emotions aside and make the best decision for the New York Football Giants, and I'm at peace with the decision.
All right, Tom Rock of Newsday got reaction from Giants owner John Mara, who said, quote, "I expected an emotional reaction from fans. It's been in excess of what I expected. Given what he has meant to our franchise, it's understandable." Mara also added that he initiated conversation with general manager Jerry Reese to get a look at other quarterbacks. All right, Cowherd, did John Mara and the Giants do Eli wrong here?
I don't think so. I have this belief system that I believe when you have stars, and they're very rare, you pamper them. If you have to overpay them, you overpay them. If they want private jets, you take care of them. You take care of their family. You pamper them. Back rubs every day, because there's so few stars. You're a Pro Bowler, I'm treating you different. But once
Did you just offer me a back rub?
But when they erode, push them out quickly, because sentimentality and romance is a big part. Let's face it, man. We buy jerseys and name our dogs and our kids, and so pamper stars. Eli has been a shot fighter for 4 years. OBJ is hiding the truth. This guy has an accuracy issue that's worse than Cam Newton.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say they did him wrong. They've paid him a ton of money. He's won 2 Super Bowls. You're right. Last year, he wasn't very good. This year, he hasn't been very good. But I just, again, when you make the move to Geno Smith, it seems baffling to a lot of people. I read a story earlier before the show. You know, Phil Simms got released or benched after leading the team to the playoffs. They went with Dave Brown, a young quarterback, I think from Duke University, and that was a controversial decision. Wellington Mara, the owner at the time, he didn't want to do it, but the general manager did, and the general manager had final say over the roster. So it's always tough. It's hard. These guys make a lot of money, and Eli has had a nice long stretch there.
This is the social media component's big too. So, like, people are upset, and they go on talk radio, and then it just lives and grows, and it's an avalanche. I mean, if you would have called WFAN radio in New York 6 weeks ago and tried to defend Eli, the host would have said, "You're an idiot. I'm hanging up on you." Now, it feels bad. Sentimentality. They want to grab onto it.
But here's the issue that, one, I think we're missing. When you have the resume that Eli Manning has, and it is a great resume, right? It's a borderline Hall of Fame resume. It's 2 Super Bowl MVPs, I believe, or at least 1 Super Bowl MVP. It's 2 world championships. It's all those things. And you let your franchise decay around him and then make him the scapegoat for the decaying franchise. They couldn't block their way out of a wet paper sack. They can't run the ball. And no offense to wide receivers, but you're a dependent position. If you don't dominate line of scrimmage, I can't throw it to you. That's just the way it is. And so I look at it from this standpoint is you did not produce or did not stand up for him. You won't stand up. I mean, as the head coach, you've thrown him under the bus. You've thrown him under the bus multiple times. You won't stand up to OBJ. You know, he can go do whatever he wants. You won't stay. You're afraid to stand up to him, but you'll throw Eli Manning under the bus. Why? Because you know that Eli Manning won't fight back. That he's gonna turn the other cheek.
At the end of his career.
And that's, I mean, bottom line, I think they did it wrong. I think he should finish his career. I think the Giants stink. I think their franchise. I think that the players around him stink. And I think the coach stinks, and I think the general manager stinks.
Nickname stink, by the way.
Yeah.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I just, when I look at this, it's a what have you done for me lately league. And with Eli Manning, regardless of if he has his weapons on the perimeter with Odell and Brandon Marshall and whomever, a running game or not, when you're looking at a borderline, as you put it, a Hall of Fame potential quarterback, can he elevate the team and can he win us ball games? He has not been able to do that.
For years.
So when you look at that and you look at the rest of their division, you have to assess that and put that into play and say, look, we're stagnant and we're moving the opposite direction and everybody else is moving forward. So I don't have a problem with them moving on. What you said about Geno Smith, that's my issue. Who you're taking Eli out for and inserting him into the lineup. I don't like
give him a defense on that. And again, I don't like the optics of it, but let's say they really want to see Davis Webb, the rookie, but they don't want him taking the heat and all the conversation
That's a good
that would go on this week. Throw Geno out there, beat up on Geno. He's worthless to you anyway. Davis Webb can come in the third quarter of a game.
Yeah.
And no one's going to blame him for anything. So maybe they're doing the rookie quarterback.
Listen,
or
it's the entertainment business to some degree. Chris Rock had a great line about the music industry and how cutthroat it was. Chris Rock said, in the music industry, it's here today, gone today. That's sports to a large degree. Hi guys, Colin Cowherd here. Before the show moves along, I wanted to talk to you about Freshly. So you've tried all the meal kits out there. 30 minutes turns into 60, and all of a sudden you realize you're actually paying to do all the work. With Freshly, those days are over. It's a weekly prepared meal service that delivers fresh, never frozen, 100% all-natural meals. Developed by their team of chefs and nutritionists. They're fully cooked. All you have to do, heat them up. Each meal ready in only 3 minutes. No more worrying about what's for dinner. No shopping, no chopping, no cleanup. Also, no artificial ingredients, preservatives, or added sugar. Delivery and takeout places are hit and miss. Why run the risk when you can have guaranteed quality meals with Freshly? Freshly makes it easy, no dishes to worry about. Be happy to get back an hour every day. Try Freshly today. Get $40 off your first 2 deliveries. Just go to freshly.com/FoxSports. That's 6 meals for only $39 for 2 weeks. It's Freshly's best offer ever. Only valid for a limited time. Head to freshly.com/FoxSports or enter the code FoxSports at checkout. Shipping is always free. How cool is that? Now let's get back to the show. Well, there's no question Eli has struggled since Ben McAdoo took over as head coach, near the bottom of the league in completion percentage, passer rating, yards per attempt, interceptions. Whitlock, do you think he still has a future as a starting quarterback in this league?
Yeah, I don't see Eli as a guy who's banged up in terms of yes, he's older, but I don't see him, I don't think he's had much of an injury history. And so his experience can cover up for his lack of accuracy and some shortcomings he has as an older player. And so I think if you get him in the right situation, if I were the Denver Broncos or the Jacksonville Jaguars or some team that had a bunch of pieces around and just needed some stability at quarterback, yeah, I think Eli Manning is going to play next year. I think he'll be a starting quarterback for somebody next year. And, look, when you look around the league, you look at the Tom Savages and a lot of guys, why not Eli Manning? He's got 2 Super Bowls, and he's relatively healthy for his age.
Here's why not. I'm going to show you a stat. OBJ has been this Band-Aid covering up a sore. Here's Eli Manning the year before OBJ. He was done. Was the O-line that bad then? That's 4 years ago. OBJ arrives, and we're like, oh, Eli's pretty competent. If you take OBJ out of Eli last 4 years, he's got Cam's completion percentage. And we know he's not Cam the athlete, and he can't do the zone read, and he's not as big as strong. I think he's a shot fighter.
He's a guy that performs in January.
Here's my deal. There are 4 quarterbacks maybe that can elevate a franchise. There are 4 guys in this league that you can say, hey, you can throw it 50 times a game, we're going to win. There's 4. There's Aaron Rodgers. There's Tom Brady, there's Drew Brees, and you can throw Roethlisberger in there maybe.
Russell Wilson, you'd have to throw in there.
He
Okay.
won't throw it 50 times.
Right, but Russell Wilson's got the defense, or has had the defense. But I'll give you that. Russell Wilson, I love Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's magical, right? All the things that he can do. So 5 guys. Beyond that, everybody needs help. And Eli is in that group of guys that needs help. He'll go into Jacksonville. That Jacksonville Jaguars are a legitimate franchise with unbelievable talent. I'll put that secondary against any secondary in football right now. 3 corners that can flat cover, 2 safeties that can play, the linebacking core that can flat run with Jack and Smith, defensive line, and Ngakwe on one side, Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson. They can play. They fixed some of their offensive line issues. Doug Marrone said when I talked to Doug Marrone, I sat down with Doug Marrone, the perfect game plan, 0 passes. You know how many Eli 0 passes he can complete? He can complete all of them, right? Every single one of them. So that to me is an automatic no-brainer. He leaves the New York Giants this year, bam, he's a Jacksonville Jaguar, and they're a playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. There's a saying, one man's trash, another man's treasure. If you take him away from the football Giants and you put him, to your point, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team who has everything built around a quarterback position that has not performed, he can have success there, but I don't think he can go anywhere where he has to be the guy. It has to be similar to what his brother did in Denver, go to an offensive line who's going to make sure he's upright, he can throw the ball down the field, he has a solidified running game, and a defense that can get you more possessions. I think that's the key to his future in this NFL.
He's Joe Flacco. Put a great team around Joe Flacco, you can win a championship.
I think that's a great analogy.
Right? If you have an average team, you're going to go, wow, what happened to Joe Flacco? He can't play. Well, no, he's always been Joe Flacco.
And in the postseason, he lights up.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco does as well. And again, Colin, I think he's a guy that can get you through the regular season and not mess it up for you if the other guys around the defense is going to win you games. And then his history has been, once it gets to January, he's a guy that elevates his performance. Once the pressure's at its highest, that is a talent that he still has, I think.
I think he's the NFL's puppy dog.
Right now.
That you just can't pick on him. Manning, he's the more likable Manning brother. He's dealt with some stuff. Again, Jacksonville it's perfect. I would say there's 30 guys in the NFL, not named Bortles, who could win in Jacksonville, because that roster is outrageously good. But I
would say that I don't buy the Denver connection.
I don't either.
Simply because Peyton was there. Peyton was made to take a $4 million pay cut his last year. Didn't really end real well. I don't know that Elway and Peyton Manning have a great, hunky-dory, let's pick out.
That pay cut.
I get it, but I don't know that there's a real hunky-dory, let's pick out curtains together type of relationship. So I don't know that that's going to happen.
All right, welcome back. Christine Leahy is back, and we're joined now by NBA champion Steven Jackson. Let's move to LeBron James, who was ejected for the first time in his career after arguing a non-call on a drive to the rim late in the third quarter against Miami.
Outrageous.
Even still, the game was already well in hand, and the Cavs went on to win their ninth straight with a big night from Kevin Love. Cowherd, what's the bigger headline here, the ejection or the 9-game winning streak?
I got to tell you something. This winning streak's amazing. Okay. Do you know who the third leading scorer for the Cavs is right now? It's Kyle Korver, who they wouldn't play in the finals because he was such a liability. I'm watching them the last 2 weeks. Jeff Green, no Isaiah, Kyle Korver.
Jeff Green is a good player.
He's hitting, he's bounced around the league. I think it's pretty amazing. You know what LeBron's become? He's the NBA's MacGyver. You throw a bunch of stuff at him.
That's what he's always been.
And he just kind of figures it out, and about a month later, you're like, wow, he turned a gum wrapper and an armoire into a jet. I mean, it's amazing what they're doing.
I do think the bigger story, everyone's talking about the ejection and the ref threw him out. They were up 23 late in the third quarter. Who cares if LeBron got tossed? This 9-game winning streak without Tristan Thompson, without Isaiah Thomas, I think it's like, wow, I'm starting to go, hold on, man. They may be a problem for Golden State. There's rumors of them getting DeAndre Jordan or Boogie Cousins or someone. they may be no Tristan. I'm looking. They're winning 9 games without Tristan Thompson.
Kyle Korver's a go-to guy for him now.
And without Isaiah, they may be a problem for Golden State.
If they got DeAndre, that would be interesting, but they'd have to give up quite a bit to get DeAndre back. So I would be interested to see who that is. But if the question here is, what's the bigger headline? The Cavs winning 9 straight? Well, that's happened plenty of times before. Maybe not this season, but plenty of times. LeBron has never been ejected in his entire career. So I'm going to take that as the headline. And I know that you give him a pass because you think that the whistles came so close together.
Outrageous.
But here's the thing. If you're yelling at a ref and he blows the whistle and gives you a tech, just stop. Don't wait 15 more seconds. And I understand the heat of the moment, and maybe you want to get your point across and tell the ref, and you don't care that you're going to get ejected from the game. That's fine. I support that. But then own it after the game and don't start complaining about, oh, the refs never have my back, or I never get the calls, or the jump shooters are the ones that are getting the calls. You can't have it both ways.
I agree with you on the fact that it's definitely the headline of him getting kicked out. I mean, everybody wants to know why he got kicked out. Well, I'll tell you why. The referee, when teams are blowing out teams, the referees tend to overlook calls that they would call in the first quarter. So third quarter, you win it by 23 points. You got fouled, yeah, but I'm not calling. Let's get out of here. LeBron wants you to call the game the same way the whole time. I understand it, and they should. So the referee was wrong, and he was a little sensitive. LeBron talks like that to every referee. Look at the games. Look at his career. When he gets mad or don't get a call, he goes off on every referee the same way. So this referee last night got real sensitive. I think he reacted too much, and you can't throw a guy out when it's not a meaningful game, especially
so
when
LeBron should just be allowed to talk to anybody.
No. What I'm saying is, if they're going to throw him out like that, throw him out the 10 other times he do it, because he does it every night. He does it every night.
First, I will defend the refs for not tossing him out of the game. You see them people sitting in those seats? They paid a lot of money to see LeBron.
But they shouldn't do it right there when they're up 23.
So, that's the time to do it, not in a competitive game.
But here's the issue that I have with it. So this happened in the third quarter. They were up by more than 20 points. And that's when LeBron decides to do this? Like, you're winning. It's a blowout game.
I like the intensity.
I like the intensity if it was about the team, but it wasn't about the team. It was about him.
So what if it's a no call and he goes up for that same move and gets hurt?
Thank you. That is about the team.
But that's why you got to make the call. You got to call the game the same the whole way.
My whole life, the biggest complainer in league history was Magic. Magic never, ever thought Michael was second. Isn't this just kind of the star of the league? In his life ggets preferential treatment and expects it from refs. I mean, the trainers, the GM.
He gets it from refs.
He gets calls.
This Michael Jordan. Remember the Tim Donaghy stuff when Donaghy said, "I was told if Michael misses, call it." I think LeBron expects that call, like you said, regardless of the score.
Look. LeBron has a point about how often he drives and goes into the lane.
Question.
And the refs, a lot of times, he's like a different version of Shaq.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things to Shaq, and the Shaq can handle it. You can do a lot of things to LeBron, and LeBron can handle it. LeBron, to me, is saying, hey, man, I'm in my mid-30s. I can get hurt if we just keep allowing people to thump on me when I go to the hole, because this is my game. This is one of the reasons why I'm shooting 58% from the field, is because I do go to the hole. It's why we're on this 9-game winning streak. I actually like the intensity and the competitors of drawing a line in the sand and say, hey, look, call it. I want the calls for all 4 quarters to be the way, because it's the way that I want to be refereed. I like it.
By the way, LeBron's free throw shooting numbers, career low this year, so to that point. Now let's move to Lonzo Ball, who has continued to struggle this week. He won't get a break tonight. Golden State's here in Los Angeles. Now, while Lonzo's taken a lot of heat in the media for his struggles as a rookie, the Warriors' biggest stars actually came to his defense.
I've always said I know he's a great talent. I think he loves to play basketball, so he'll be able to fight through all that and have a great career. But I hope you didn't judge me off my first 20 games in the league.
Lonzo is just playing like a rookie as far as learning the game, finding the ins and outs of the game, and slowing down for him, and picking and choosing his spots, and he's still figuring it out. And that's what, is he 19? That's what any 19-year-old will go through in the pros. So it's just a matter of him being in LA, so much eyes and scrutiny on him. But he's playing like he should play as far as, learning the game and adjusting on the floor.
All right, Whitlock, must be a great look. Lonzo has stars defending him. You love that.
It's a horrible look.
Really?
I'm going to just tell you why. It's a lack of respect. It's sympathy. I don't want sympathy if I'm a competitor. And the guy's 20 years old. I'm pretty sure he's 20 years old. Everybody like, he's 19, he's 17, he's only 12 years old. No, he's in the NBA. He was hyped as, we're going to put him up in the rafters. His daddy made everybody believe he was the second coming of Magic Johnson.
Better than Steph Curry.
Yeah, he's shooting 30% from the field. Steph Curry, I've always said, the man's been around a hot minute. Like you've been talking about Lonzo Ball forever. Sympathy is the last thing you want as a competitor. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me.
I still contend that De'Aaron Fox was brutal last night. Nobody cares.
You act like that. What? And you know why? Because De'Aaron Fox's daddy kept his mouth shut.
No, I'm not denying that LeVar Ball's got a big mouth. I'm not denying that at all.
Magic Johnson didn't say De'Aaron Fox is going to be up in the Kings
Here's
draft.
the thing. We're all caught up in his draft pick now. It's sort of like when you get out of college your first year. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to school?
Why aren't we talking about the number 1 pick?
5 years after college, when you apply for a job, nobody cares that you went to Princeton.
Well, hold on. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
Do you have a LeBronzo meter
I did.
for De'Aaron Fox or whatever? So you were part of the hype machine that thought he was going to bring LeBron to Los Angeles. It's not happening. The kid's not as good as the hype. Period. Everybody deal with it.
I got rid of that meter.
Yeah, he did kill it early in the week, to be fair. Listen, you're not a big baller if you need the opposing team to have sympathy for you. And when you see Kevin Durant and Steph Curry saying that on camera, guess what's going to happen tonight at the game? They're going to eat them alive.
No question.
So you can have all that sympathy, but it's not really real. And I do think this is a bad look because we're not doing it with other rookies. The reason we're doing it with him is because the hype was up here. And no one's going to live up to that. That's just not realistic as a rookie. So you're going to underperform no matter what. And my issue with him isn't necessarily, the actual basketball X's and O's. It's his passive attitude, all around.
Yeah, I think he's definitely too laid back. But I agree with Steph. I agree with Steph and KD. I think we've all been through it, and it's all been tough our rookie years. I was with Steph his first 9 games, and it didn't look good. No,
You were with him.
His first 9 games.
Did you feel sorry for him?
I didn't feel sorry for him.
Sympathy?
Not at all. I didn't show him no sympathy.
Thank you.
At the same time, but I didn't know he was going to be the player he was today. I didn't see that in his first 9 games. So my rookie year, I went through struggles too, but like I said, I blame all this on his dad. I don't blame it on him. I like how he handled it, but I want to see more passion.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to show you care. You missing shots, go out there and play harder, do something.
Steve.
Get a technical foul.
What
He
are
needs
they
to get a
saying
technical
in the
foul.
locker room? He ain't got no dog in him.
Oh, they definitely saying that, but they said that when they found out he was from Chino Hills.
And he looks like he
Right,
plays
exactly,
like he's from
exactly.
Chino
By the
Hills.
way, Andrew Wiggins doesn't have a lot of dog in him. A lot of these AAU guys don't have a lot of
His
dog
dad
in
need to
them.
take him to
But you got-
Compton, where his dad's from.
Well, then you can't have all the bite if you've got no dog in you.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
You gotta keep that quiet.
I don't remember Andrew Wiggins shooting 30% from the field. his
First of all,
rookie year.
Andrew Wiggins is a shooter. You're asking this guy who's a drummer to be a lead singer. He's never been brought
I'm
in.
asking a basketball player to put it in the hole because that's what the game is about.
Did Ben Wallace? No, Ben Wallace played defense. Did Rodman? A lot of guys in the NBA didn't put it in the
Where was
basket.
Ben Wallace drafted?
God, you in the draft?
Again,
Who cares?
Did Chuck Daly of the Pistons say, "Oh, one day Ben
In
Wallace
your-
is going to be right there with
in
Kareem
your
Abdul-Jabbar"?
business, do I care that where you went to school? Can you write a
Hell
column?
yeah, it
Can you
matters.
write a column? If you can't, you're out.
It does matter, and that's I had to earn mine because I was from Ball State, so I had.
You were the first big baller brand.
Yeah. But I love Christine's point too about the big ballers thing. You slapped that label
that's
on
true.
You're not
big
the big
ballers.
baller.
Right.
What about him looks like he has big balls? I mean, nothing.
Right.
I'm just
Well,
telling
listen,
you.
I wanted to separate the two, the father and the son, but the son, as you said, he's a man, he's in the NBA, he's wearing all that stuff too. He's wearing the stay in your lane shirt, so he's owning it. He's an adult. You can't say you're a big baller and then have people coming out and giving you sympathy right before they're about to eat you alive on the court.
Man, you guys are tough.
The sympathy shoe
true.
line. That's where it should come. Yeah.
All right, welcome back. Joined now, co-host of The Herd, Christine Leahy, founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to college football, all heated up here. Big shakeup in the playoff rankings this week. Clemson now moves to number 1, Auburn number 2, Oklahoma 3, Wisconsin 4, round out the top 4. For now, Bama's on the outside looking in, but just at number 5, Whitlock. Should Bama actually be a lock to make the playoff?
Listen, if one of these teams loses without one of the top 4, Alabama is the natural choice to slide in there at number 4. I think they should actually be in the top 4. I know they lost to Auburn or whatever, but it is Alabama. Look, Alabama's college football to me, and Nick Saban is the king of college football. People love rooting against Alabama. I think there's a lot of bias against Alabama. There's a lot of bias against the SEC. I'm a Big Ten guy. I grew up in Big Ten country. The SEC is the best conference in college football still to this day. And if 2 teams from the SEC, if Auburn wins or whoever wins the SEC championship belongs in the playoffs, and so does Alabama in my mind. Someone's going to get robbed and have a problem. But that's always been the case in college football. Someone's feelings generally get hurt. When they were voting for championships, someone would get left out. Or, I remember Penn State one year went undefeated and still didn't win a national championship. Yeah. That's part of college football.
I don't have a problem with Alabama getting in. I do think if Georgia beats Auburn, they will leap over Alabama, who's idle, and get in. And then I think Auburn slides out and Bama gets in. So to your point, I think what the committee did last night is they showed us their belief system. And their belief system is we think the South has the best college football teams. And they certainly think that is true. And so I said this on the show today. My wife's vegan. That's her belief system. I ain't talking her out of vegan.
You probably could. Just show her a couple documentaries to the contrary. Their strength of schedule is 54th in the nation. They had one shot to prove that they could beat a great team, and they couldn't do it. And so while you say that Nick Saban is the king of college football, I look at examples like Jay-Z or Kanye, who are the kings of hip-hop. And just because they're amazing and they have so many great albums that win lots of Grammys doesn't mean they can't have a real dud, right? Like both of them, 444, and Kanye had one too that just, they weren't very good, but people still bought them, listened to them. They won awards because of the name. But it doesn't mean that they should just get that pass. It's okay for maybe one album to not do well, and then the next one they can come back and be okay.
By the way, to her point, this is not one of Bama's best teams. I'll argue that all day. It is not one of Bama's best teams. They're all beat up in the defense.
Christine used the great word dud. That's what this season has been for Nick Saban. So I looked it up.
11-1 dud.
Yes, I'm about to tell you.
When you look at their schedule.
No, we talked about the defense. Remember on the herd, the defense is banged up. You know about that offense. They returned their quarterback. They returned their running back, Scarborough, the receiver, Ridley. That offense has scored under 30 points once last year. Just once. They were loaded. This year, 4 times they've been held under 30. They missed Lane Kiffin a lot. Nobody's talking about this.
Yes, they
do. That
do.
offense is a joke this year, Whitlock. They had 14 points against Auburn. That's it. That's all they could do here late in the season with all their stars back. This is not a good Alabama team. They do not deserve at this point to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but you're doing kind of what Christine's basically saying is music, there is a legacy component. But I don't follow music sales. But I would guess the better albums do sell better than the duds.
They do, but even the duds do better than the average record because of the name.
Okay,
they still get into the Grammys because of the name.
So what we have, here's what we factually know. This is not a good schedule for Bama. It's not. No. It's not one of the...
They play the SEC. That, to me...
And by the way, and didn't play Georgia, who's maybe the best team.
They won... Here's what we factually
know. They played Auburn, and they lost Auburn.
We factually know they've won 11 games, and that their history shows that Alabama is always, under Nick Saban, is always one of the best 3 or 4 teams in college football. Okay. To me... You leave them out of the playoffs, and I'm sitting around wondering, did they really win the national championship? They didn't take one out.
When you were writing sports, you were doing when you used to really work hard. Who were the columnists that were the legends that were winning the National Sports Writer of the Year? Was Rick Riley one of them or something?
Yeah, but he wasn't a newspaper guy.
Mitch Albom maybe or something.
Mitch Albom.
Okay, what if you had a great year for you? You got into your peak. You're 33. Right. Should Mitch just get it because, he's Mitch Albom at the Detroit Free Press?
No, that is exactly what happened.
And it was wrong, right?
It was exactly what happened. And look, I was always one of the 2 or 3 best columnists in the country, and I'd get screwed over.
And you were mad?
Yes.
No, I really wasn't. Seriously. Because it's a joke. That whole system was a joke.
Let me add one note. Whitlock, you just said if you can't have Alabama in the playoff, did it really happen? If you put Alabama in, that's 3 teams from the Deep South. Are you getting the entire country excited for a playoff?
No.
Or are you making a regional thing with 2 SEC teams in Clemson?
If you
Then you're
really
making it
care
a
about
regional college
football-
football playoff. Ohio State carries the Midwest. Last year they had Washington from the West Coast. You need balance. You can't just have the South loaded up in the
Now
playoff.
you're making a TV show. I'm talking about.
What do you
who's
think the
best.
committee's doing?
Who's the best.